as we get into this evening's live, and we can see how Bitcoin has pushed over that 108,000 area and given us somewhat of a confirmation here. I know we don't have like this extreme back test, but we definitely broke out of this consolidation. So now if this continues pushing, now that we broke over this resistance, we have to push over and not get double topped here at about 111,574. If we can get over that range, that's when it starts to get spicy, and it's going to get very interesting, because then we get into discovery, and once we get into discovery, our first target's going to be 124k or 123k. The question is, can we get up to 154? That's the question we've been asking. If we don't take the step down to 89 area or 90k, can we get all the way up there? We probably can. I know we're going to get to 124k range if this does play true, now that it broke out. And it should alleviate some pressure if we can just keep pushing. It could be a quick shot here, because that's an awfully big flag that could be forming. And what I did earlier, and I'm telling you guys right now, if you're a fan of DGB, the process was so seamless that I'm almost disappointed I didn't think about this before. So I got a DigiByte wallet, opened it up last night, and I started sending in $5,000 transactions from BITUNIX to LBank, buying $5,000 worth. I did it in 4 different transactions. Not all of them were 5,000. And I sent it from LBank to the DigiByte wallet. When I say it was seamless, one of the transactions took a couple hours because you got to wait to get on the Digi blockchain. And on some of the exchanges that don't have a lot of traffic with certain tokens, I know you guys know what I'm talking about. So I ended up buying 2.22 million of DGB. I only bought 2 tokens. I bought DGB. It's like 0.00. DGB hasn't moved. So basically where it's at. And then I bought AMP. I bought AMP at 0038 something. 522,200 tokens. Because I believe AMP, if these do play out, has that big inverse head and shoulders. And this could do what it did late last year, or mid last year, if it doesn't break down. And that's a big if, but everything I drew out, I mean, it brings us back into a range over the top. And if this is a support structure, now if I take it off the weekly, it'll be a lot easier to see. But I think, assuming the markets are turning up, that's a big inverse right shoulder. And this could come up several 100% if it played out properly. So short-term possibilities there. So that's what I did. I'm very much debating on data, and I have more time to decide, as do all of you, because the breakout hasn't technically happened yet. We haven't got over 146. So that's when you have to make your decision, because you're not going to want to do it after it gets up here. You're going to want to do it by the time it breaks this 146. So that's the time you have to make this decision. I'm just going to be straight up, because once it breaks 146 on data, it's a very quick jump of 14%. And I certainly wouldn't want you guys paying 13% more when it's at 1.6, when you've got a break point at 1.46. Does that make sense? Out of curiosity. Let's see. Let's see. I didn't realize there were so many people commenting. But I was trying to start hot and heavy, because now the fear is obviously if something happens and something that we're not expecting is out there. But for now, we like to look at it from the technical prospect. So from a technical aspect here, I talked about in my earlier update this morning, pay attention to IOTA, pay attention to Algo. You know, for that regard, pay attention to DGB where we're turning right now. Pay attention to some of the other ones. But the reason I say pay attention is because we're not out of the woods. Like, this very much hasn't really done anything yet. Yes, we're over on XRP 229, which is great. And I didn't need to buy XRP because I'm not selling what I have. So, I thought about it, because when I sold DGB, it was at 1 cent. And I thought about it long and hard and said, it's down 12% from where you bought it, or where you sold it last. And you're getting 12% more. So you had 2 million before, and I turned it into, like, I don't know, I might have put a couple dollars extra of my own, but I got an extra 222,000 tokens. But here's the thing. when I put the same damn transaction into crypto.com, it cost $19,300 for the transaction. When I bought it on Albank, I am not kidding you, it was $16,870 something dollars. That's a $2,600 difference to buy the exact same tokens because crypto.com put it up to like 0091, as to where Albank you still got it at 008 whatever, 88 whatever. And when I tell you it was a $25 fee, I think it cost me like $67 total. And it was damn near $17,000, and that was my fee. And on crypto.com, it would have cost me 20 something hundred. Not too bad. That's kind of in the BITUNIX realm. So, you know, just pay attention to that. And all these exchanges I talk about are for a reason. Because I'm not going to get shabammed and shebanged. So if you want to look at them, there's BITUNIX on here. But if you're looking for the DGB outlet, that's on Albank. And do it through the link I give you through mobile. Otherwise, if you go through the exchange that says that it's not available in the app, but I can tell you it is in the USA, and their customer service took like, what, 5 seconds for them to respond? It was crazy. So, I'm trying to vet all of these, so I'd love to know your experiences on some of these as well. So, but I'm a little excited only because we pushed past this resistance. But I also, the reason I'm really excited is because I have the DGB wallet now. I'm not going to lie about it. That's the reason I'm really excited. Just because it was seamless. So, let's see. And to get it off the exchanges makes me happy. Now I don't have to worry about holding it. Now I can just keep it for all eternity. I don't even give a rat's ass what it does. Eventually it will. It'll go to where I want. Shane, welcome in. Jay Freemix, welcome. Well, Rob, good evening, along with Meatball and Roger Morgan. The perfect storm it could be. The more I think about it, if we do take this rise up, if the U.S. dollar keeps coming down, you could see appreciation by virtue of the U.S. dollar is not worth that much. Last week we were talking and the U.S. dollar was worth about every $100 on face value was worth about $99.65. Now it's worth $99. So you've lost another 0.65% of purchasing power to start the week. Look at that. We gained 0.1%. But anyhow, that's where we're sitting right now. Gold had a decent bounce back. Commodities, our mining stocks are just sitting here, guys. Like, I honestly can't even believe what that portfolio is turned into. So, sure, there could be a correction here. But if silver goes up to 39, look out on the silver miners. It's going to be big. And Pan America Silver, remember just a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, was at 21.50 or roughly 21.40 when we bought it. And now it's at 29.28. First Majestic, I mean, it's up at 8.34. It was down at 5.27 2 weeks ago. Fortuna Silver Mines was down at 5.24 or 5.31. They were both around the exact same spot. And now it's at 6.97. The silver miners are going to crush it. But the reason why First Majestic is having a bit of a more of a tease here and a better move is because we talked about it before. They had an acquisition, and yes, their books didn't look as strong, but it was the exact same scenario as we watched some months earlier with Pan America Silver. Pan America Silver did that, and it was the same thing we seen with First Majestic. So now First Majestic is bouncing off of that. Now Pan America Silver is starting to bounce after the new acquisition. And we got a gift. It was the same gift we got at $4.40 or whatever 6 months ago on First Majestic, and we got to ride it up to 8 or 9 or whatever it was. So it's been a majestic move over there, and that is such an untalked about one. I love it. Like, I so much love that sector. But I love crypto. And right now, guys, we talked about the Mendoza line. We've talked about basically the outlier here. Can Ethereum finally... I can't talk as loud. My son's sleeping. Can Ethereum finally get over this pain in the ass rising wedge resistance after we thought? I'm telling you, there's a golden cross there. And that's a bull flag. And it's like I said the last few days. I'm scared. That's not the right word. I feel uneasy because something seems not right. But maybe there's something that doesn't seem right is the fact that we're not getting a whole bunch of volume coming in, but we're still going to have a big push up. You know, maybe that drop down, we only needed to go the first tier because these dailies are looking good. And if you're sleeping on it, like, you just got to pay attention to the movement. Right now, we're breaking through those levels I wanted to see for confirmation. You know, we didn't get confirmation down, but thankfully we got confirmation up, but we haven't got validation. We haven't got the true, like XRP tried to backtest, but we haven't got that true universal backtest. If Bitcoin can close over right around 108K, it's a good sign. It's a big move out of here, but we just don't want to double top here. That's the, you know, we're trying not to double top here. Did we have a lot of volume? No. Did Michael Saylor buy more? Sure he did, but that's just what they do. So, I don't know. If this breaks up, we're going to be very fucking happy. I'm telling you that right now. I'm telling you. One of these moves is going to be the moonshot for Ethereum, and that's when the alt tokens are going to follow. And my God, I'm telling you right now, find your positioning for the ones you appreciate. Like that, I'm waiting for confirmation. I showed you at the beginning, 0 for 146. I don't care if it's at a 4% higher or 3. It doesn't bother me. The move I'm looking for has nothing to do with this couple of percent. That's the only difference between me and maybe somebody. I want validation one way or the other. So look at that. If that moves up, I mean, that gets you pretty damn close into that range. If that's actually something that's going to play out that big. But then you look at it and you're like, well, that's an inverse head and shoulders. So obviously you have to measure it more like this. Well, fair. And if you do it like that, okay, well, I mean, you're still getting to 132.9. But the initial target out of the cup and handle breakout that we still haven't filled. So our next mediocre resistance is going to be 123 on the way up. Like, that's something that has to fill eventually. I wanted it to go down and fill that bigger inverse head and shoulders because then our target would have raised up almost immediately on a hold up to like 154 where I put that blue arrow. But it's not bad underneath. Even 132, 143, 123. You know, it's all going to get us something here. So we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. But a lot to talk about. We'll do our best to get through this. Crypto Cooter, welcome in along with Frankie Fresh. Thank you both for being in Tom's Zone for 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. That's probably pretty annoying for everybody. It's pretty bright. Here, let me fix that. I wonder if that makes it a little bit easier. Or maybe you don't even care. Maybe you like looking out the window. You can tell me if you liked it better looking out the window or not. And then if you liked it better, I'll just open it back up when I get to your comments. UK Phil, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year at the I Told You So badge. Good evening, Brian. Welcome in. Martin, good evening. Mark Casting, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. George, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor, along with Jorge. And Jorge is also a very trusted mod. Says, hello, people. Hello, Tom. Let's all hit the like button for people to get the notification and information about it. Oh, you reminded me. I got to share it myself on YouTube. And I'll do that while I'm continuing to say hi to everybody. Josh, welcome in. Sola Jeffy, good evening. Let's see. Black Ox Matters. You always get me all hot and bothered with your TA, brother. Keep up the great work, Stud Muffin. You better believe it. That's a true comment. That's a true story. I'll keep it going just for you, my friend. I'll keep it fire so that you can, you know. But, let's see. And I want to know if you guys get any of these because I can send it out in 3 waves. So I'm going to try to send it out 3 different ways. And I want to know if any of you actually get this. So I send it out. 1 is public, 1 for all channel subscribers, and 1 for all paid subscribers. Just, you know, and I like to always see if it actually goes through. And some people show up because I send it. And it's like I always forget. And look how long it took. Like, that's it. Took me, what, 45 seconds? Let's see. Brian, hi Tom. I sell all my crypto a while ago because of some financial problems. What do you recommend me to get it has good entry? That's always the tough one because if we don't get validation here, none of these are going to end up being the best entry. But I look at these long overdue ones like DGB's right up there, but not a lot of people are interested in it. But like when I look at things, like AMP to me is one of those that's set up in the short term, but you got to take kind of a leap here. But it's set up in this big inverse head and shoulders in the short micro version. But then also in a macro, I could make the argument it's in a drawn out formation. And I put it like this just so you can kind of see the, but you could draw it like that. But I want to put pressure on it. I put pressure on this pattern. That's why I drew it like this. Because technically I'm giving the uptrend some support here back in August of 24. Because that led to a big spike. And now look, we've had V-shaped recoveries or inverse head and shoulders before, and look how this one's set up. It kind of emulates the one in 24 back here. It's not as stretched out, but look at that. That's an inverse pattern. I have a feeling that this is going to run all the way back up and probably then some at some point. So I want to be a part of it. And I said I wanted to buy it as close to support as I could get while it was under the support. So yeah, CJ2 Pilot, that's what it says everywhere. If you download the mobile app, that's what I had to do. I downloaded the mobile app, and then it worked. And I talked to them, and they said, oh, it works in the USA. But it works. I mean, I did it, and I sent my stuff to the DGB wallet. Like, I'm just not going to mess around with keeping my DGB on the exchanges. But I'm holding it for a very long time, so having the wallet, it's a sense of security. Just like with my XRP and XRP Healthcare, being on the XRP Healthcare wallet, I don't have to worry about the exchange. So it gives me a lot of comfort. But thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So Bad CJ2 Pilot. That's the problem with Albank. It always shows that. No, not selling XRP. Anthony Venegas, welcome in, and thanks so much for still being a part of this audience. That's a name I used to say back in the day, too. Wow. That's incredible. Will Rob, welcome back to Tom's Army for more than 3 months now. 3 months plus with the XRP Meteor. Look at that. I love it. Thank you so much for that, Will Rob. Seriously. What a sharp-looking, handsome fellow there, too. Summit Pro, welcome in. Meatball, good evening. AAV is moving. Damn, I haven't even looked at AAV. It's one of my silent loves. A Balance, good evening. Mosey here, good evening, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Frankie Fresh in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XP Meteor says, Tom, I'm loving my B2 Gold up 24%. I know B2 Gold had a nice solid bounce. You brought it up. I want to validate what you're saying. You know, at least show you what's going on. So remember the target after the breakup, $3.84, and then in a perfect world, we would hold the back test at 345. And the reason I say that, or actually, it's a little bit higher. 354, because every time we came up there, we kept getting rejected in these areas. Like, you could come lower if you want to hit every single one of them from back here. And then you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rejections hit. Oh, that's why I had it like that. So technically from 346 to 354, depending on how you're looking at it, should be the back test. You know, if we have one. If we don't have a back test and we shoot through this, our technical target right now is $5. But there's a bigger target. This is just the short target out of that descending wedge. That's about as bullish as you're ever going to see in a formation. And the fact that back tested and we got to ride it from way down here up to the resistance, sell it, and then buy it back here at 280. I remember I came on the air and said I bought it at 287, and I missed it down here after the first initial, well, not there. I missed it here, and it went up, and then I bought it back here. It was either 287 or 289, and you bought it at the same price, Frankie Fresh, I remember. So you can tell me, because I can't remember. Buying anything AUW? Yeah, I bought 2.22 million tokens of DGB, and then earlier today, I bought as well AMP, 522,200 tokens, a couple $1,000 on AMP, $16,800 put back into DGB. So I mean, it net profited a couple $1,000, but I also bought another 100,000 tokens, so net profit not as much as it could have been, like maybe 12 or 1,300 from the, you know, the sell and the rebuy. Let's see. Randall, thanks for the $9.99 donation. I love it. I love it. And thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor. That's damn generous of you, my friend. Thank you so much for that, Randall. Another handsome-looking, business-looking gentleman in this picture. We got a handsome men in this audience and beautiful women in our audience, both inside and out. We do. We razzle and dazzle. Kyle Kupiak, welcome in, Cape Cod Kyle from Massachusetts, not Florida. We're famous around these parts for some things we say. But welcome in, buddy. And I know he's in Tom's Army for over 1 year, and it's just not showing it today for some reason. Really, welcome in. I appreciate you continuing to tune in and not being scared away by my antics. Like the rest of you, I appreciate it. Alec Tony, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge and me being abducted by aliens. And I know it's your first month because that's my face superimposed on that emoji badge. Alec, you got the notification. Excellent. Sir Smokeslot got it as well. Jorge got it. See, that works good then. Perfect. I'm going to have to start doing that just so that it shows up to some people. I'd rather a few than none. Amanda, welcome in, love. Amanda O'Shea. I always forget. We've got so many different people. There's a few Amandas, and I'm trying not to confuse the two different ones. But thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XRP Meteor. I really appreciate that. Silver Days, welcome in. Silver Days XRP, I was reading what it said to Randall, but you were just appreciating the fact that he sent a super chat. Crypto Cooter, thanks for the heads up there as well. I love hearing that people are getting it. Syrian, welcome in, and thanks for being a very trusted mod and being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor. Amazing. Defined Group, welcome in. You're late, but not too late. Thanks for being in Tom's Army for 3+ months with the XP Meteor. Hey, I'm late. I'll start from the beginning. Tom, are you a better man? Are you a betting man? Did you buy anything today, yesterday? Yes. Yes, I did. DGB 2.22 million tokens and 522,200 AMP. But I'm also currently in the process of vetting out data, and I want to see if it can give me the short-term confirmation. And I could maybe pull the string early because I think that's a W reversal with a possible, when I look at it like this, is that a bear flag or is that forming more like a wedge? I don't know. But it looks like a double bottom possibly. And the way I'm looking at these points, as long as it holds this and breaks out of this, at the very worst, we could ride it from 146 for a 13% move to 165. But more than likely, we would ride it all the way up to the 182 and then we can decide. So what I was thinking is we wait. We could front run it actually, but for confirmation, you wait for it to get over like 146, 147. And then you just ride it up. Either you're going to ride it up about 12, 13% or 25. And I think that's a good idea. Axion, yeah, we talked about Axion being right at that back test break point. And now it's up 8.5%. We were trying to figure out all the different scenarios. It's funny because we got into a big thing about all the different directional pulls that could go in. It seems to be taking the blast ball. It back tested perfectly, and we're having a big debate here. Which is why it's fun on the weekends when there's no volume to try to figure out what it's going to do. Right now, we haven't done nothing is the problem. We got that bears cross in the daily. We got to get over. And if we were to break down, we would come to the uptrend. That's still intact. But if we break out, first level, we're going to have to get past the 20-day at 164. And then we got to get past this resistance at like 192. Get over that 2 cent area and start cooking. Because if you can start cooking, you're going to start cooking. Remember, there's gaps that have been left all the way from up at the top. We always talk about the lower gaps, but the upper gap here leaves huge fucking potential here for XCN. It really does. If I buy data, how many tokens? Well, it would be 0.146. Hold on, let me do a quick math real quick. So I'm assuming it would be at 0.0. I'll say 0.0169, just so it'll be an overestimate. So if I went... I would say probably 252,220 tokens. So somewhere around $4,250 worth. But I mean, I'm very tempted with XCN as well, because I mean, look at that setup. That's fucking huge. And if that's playing out as an extended inverted right arm there, oh my. And like with XCN, you've got time. It's just you either jump the gun or you wait for it to break out the resistance at 193. And that's somewhat of a move from here, but yeah, there's a lot of optics. If this breaks out, it's going to be fucking big. And there's signs that it could be bottoming here. And it's 70% of the move right now, so it's so tough. Now, if you didn't buy as many as you wanted at 13.31, with it being at 15, what is it at now? 15.60 at 8.5% kind of is a kick in the nuts. If you wanted more, but it's only 8.5%. In the grand scheme of things, it's not crazy high yet. It's not even out of the range yet. Filecoin's another one though that I'm about to bash my head through the wall, because this is where I should technically be buying it. From my own words, I said I was waiting for Filecoin, and some of you were here. If it held this support, I was waiting for it to get back over this resistance, and then I could give it a run, because then at least I would know if it fell through the floor, you know, that it was probably end of the floor, you know, end of the game. But the closer I bought here, once I didn't get confirmation, but I could have front run it to the 200-day. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, ICP was listed on BITUNIX. That's great, honestly. That's good news. That's really good news. So, what do you think about what I said about Filecoin, out of curiosity? Because now it is actually at that point where we need to talk about it. Oh, I can't wait for XRP Healthcare. The little engine that could. DAG's up 11.5%. Fucking beautiful. Bounce off the 3. Look at, see those inverse head and shoulders on some of these are starting to play out. That's what I mean. That means that these are probably going to make it out. Crypto Kudu, do you have any Filecoin right now? Or are you considering buying Filecoin? Are you in the Prospectors Club or in the Owners Club? You do? Excellent. Ooh, 500, not bad. Not bad. You sold your Filecoin today? I mean, I understand being scared. It's really at a very interesting spot here, because it's about to, if it breaks through here, it's going to break out. Like, this is the level that I would consider buying it, which is ironic that you sold it. But you probably wrote it up from that bottom drop, so I understand that. Oh, the IPO is going to be unbelievable for XRP Healthcare. I mean, it's been sitting around that 7.5 cent mark for some time now, so it's given an opportunity for some. I know one day I'm going to be sitting there with XRP Healthcare, and it's going to be one of those $2, $5, $10, $15, $20 ones. And they're going to say, how much did you buy that for? I'm going to say, you wouldn't believe it if I told you. I'm going to be one of those guys like on the early Apple investor, or the early Tesla, or the early, you know, whatever it is, early Bitcoin. Hey, I bought XRP Healthcare at 1.7 cents, and it's at what price? $17. I must be doing pretty good. How many tokens did you buy? Oh, yeah, I got about 62,000 something just sitting around. I'm like, 62,000? Oh, my fucking God. I say, I know. You want to know what the other part is? I have XRP too. Oh, my God. And I have DGB. Oh, I might as well just jump out the fucking window. So, you know what the biggest criticism I get from people? I won't watch this station because he's XRP Future Millionaire. If he knew what he was talking about, it wouldn't say Future Millionaire. I understand most people would only come on here after being a millionaire, but I like to show the process. I do pretty well. Just not as well as that guy wanted to watch me. but that's okay. Where can I buy XRP Healthcare? Ironically, Bank. That's the reason that I first got it, because you could buy and sell it. So I tested it last year, and it was seamless. So then I seen DGB on there, like, oh my god, my god. I ain't telling anybody about my crypto. Nope. Plan is to turn most of your XRPH into XRP when it runs. Keep a few thousand XRP. Hey, that's a forward-thinking plan. I like forward-thinking plans before we get there. Because, you know, if you figure it out before you get to that destination point, then it can make things happen. I like when things happen. Let's see. Tom is LB. Yes, no KYC or VPN on the Bank. Seamless. Yeah, I just do I do an email verification and I do the Google Authenticator, because you know you want to have 2 forms at least. But the Google Authenticator, because it does every 60 seconds, even if someone's trying to hack you, unless they've got the Authenticator that I can only use on my phone, they would have to have my phone to even do anything. So, you know. But even if you had my phone, then you would have to have the other parts of it, and it's a nightmare unless you're the person. So yeah, there's a lot of things that are starting to hit those points of, hey, we're getting past barriers. Like XRP's pushing past a major barrier here. And then it'll start to push towards another one. But we pushed past the big one at 229. Now we can start shooting up here. First target, big target, is 265. But the micro targets we have to watch out for are $2.42, right around 252, and then 265. And then it opens up. So Tanya May, welcome in, love, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon Badge. Such a spectacular show of support. I didn't do either. I sent USDT over from BITUNIX, and it cost me $2 to send it over to Bank. And then I just bought the tokens I wanted of DGB with that USDT, and then I set the DGB over, and I do this in 4 different transactions each way to the DGB wallet. Yep, Zaman holds XRP Healthcare as well. I choose to put XRP Healthcare in its native wallet, the XRP Healthcare wallet. And then they added XRP to the holdings as well, and it was a done deal. So I just took my XRP and put it onto there because I want to support the XRP Healthcare blockchain. Especially, and I love XRP, so it was a no-brainer for me. XRP Zombie, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. Ooh, Define Group, I cut the grass today too. When my son was in school, after I got done at the gym and stuff, I walked home, and I had to do some work in the garden. I reinforced it, as some of you know, because I got some animals that decided to bite through some of my netting. They didn't really do much. But I put a nice reinforced, it's some nice heavy duty one this time. It's like kind of like if you had a small pet that you're trying to keep away from like mean animals is what you put around it. I don't want to say it's a chain link, it's small, but it's solid. I've been questioning Hbar myself. I'm not saying it's too early. If anything, that's a big W reversal. And if we just update this, because we were just trying to show the uptrend, but if we update this pattern, it's actually very early within the micro movement. If I'm being honest with you, it's really early, because that longer pattern we haven't even broke out of yet. Look how early you actually are in the micro. It just started breaking out of this short term. Now, do we back test or do we just shoot straight up? In this scenario, we don't have to back test. This is just the short term buildup. And now it should shoot us all the way up to maybe 21 cents. And then we'll be in it again. We'll be in it again to see if we get past that resistance that started after we double topped. So this is a big part for the market. And look at that big inverse head and shoulders. So I don't think nothing's been missed here. The funny thing is it came all the way down to 12.7. It held that support structure. So came back to resistance. And now what I was trying to show here is if it started some kind of uptrend, like if this is some kind of an uptrend now and it follows it out of here, this is what we try to find. And then it almost forms like a channel there. And then once it gets over the top, then we can start to make a play. But look at that inverse head and shoulders. So no, it's not that I think it's an issue. It's just, we just have to be aware that Bitcoin and everything is in that area where we could just be back testing the recent drops. Remember, XRP was at, oh yeah, crypto cooter, absolutely. And being where it's at for Hbar, seeing that uptrend, I mean, it's actually not in a bad spot. So you can even look at it like it was kind of in a rising channel for a second. It fell out. Now it's caught a little bit of support on that uptrend. So, I mean, it's within the ballpark. You're not missing anything if you're buying that trend. Some might ride it from the support and sell at resistance now until it shows one way or the other. So, no. I fear that something unexpected is going to happen. That fear hasn't changed. But I said yesterday, as long as it breaks past the areas I want, I'll take a shot. And right now, these are breaking out of the short-term micro moves. DGB, I took a pre-shot, let's just say. Because once I figured out how easy it was to go to the DGB wallet, it was game over. Like, I did not want to not hold it. And it dropped off 12 or 13% from where I sold it. And that was begrudgingly anyhow because of how Crypto.com's politics and nonsense is. Because I was sending it over from Lbank to Crypto.com just because I was verified. But it's such a pain in the ass to do all of that. And then you worry about all the transactions. So I just said, you know what? Screw this. I'm going on the DGB wallet. I'm going to source. And now it makes it easy. A lot easier. My big question is DGB. XDC. Like, what is going on here? Are we going to finish this drop or do we just break out now? This is the one that is the big pain in the ass right now. I'm telling you right now, if it comes down to 4 or 3.2 cents or whatever, I am buying it. Define group. Why did I buy AMP? I've just been watching AMP for a while, and it's got this big inverse head and shoulders, and it reminds me a lot of... Does anybody remember that fateful pattern we bought back here? And then one day it bounced. Where was it at? Oh, we had a fateful one. It was midsummer last year. It was probably this bounce right here. But it had a majestic bounce. And we bought it, and after one day... Nope, it wasn't that one. One of these. It might have been early last year. And that's the one. We bought it, and it had a setup. And then it just rallied out. And then it created this little inverse pattern. And then it broke out again. Now it's got another inverse pattern set up. And this time, I think there's some potential here because it's below the uptrend. And if it's going to surge through, I think this would be the time to catch it. And it's severely undervalued. Severely. How do you fund your BITUNIX? What I did was I sent it from an exchange I was using before that, but I sent it from another exchange. So you can fund it from another exchange and or if you send something from a wallet. That's what I did. Funds that were already on a different crypto exchange. I went to BITUNIX and it became my main exchange. And now, like, I like to use Lbank for, like, the DGB purchases. I like to use BLOFIN. Not usually, though, because I can use BITUNIX and just put IOTA and 1x in the future side, so it's not a big deal. The only difference is on BLOFIN, I could send my IOTA wherever I want off the exchange as to where, but I don't have any trust issues with BITUNIX, so. Oh, yeah, Tanya, it was great. We bought on a live at night AMP. It was a couple $1,000 worth. I think $2,500 maybe worth. And the next day, it was already up it went up 200 and something % by my next live. And people were like, oh my fucking guy. And I think it ended up going 3 or 4x by the end of it. And just as quick as it went, I sold it. I'm like, listen, it just turned this money into that money. Or maybe it was, no, I think this time it was just like $1,000. And it turned one into like 3 or 4,000, something like that. Or maybe it was 15 into 6. I don't know. It was so long ago now with everything that's happened. But it was just one of those crazy 300 or 400% moves in like 24 or 48 hours in totality. Oh, it's beautiful. Friday the 13th, 201 days from the end of the year, possible 201 ritual. You never know. You never know. AMP and DGB are my worst shit coins. How dare you, Robert? DGB and shitcoin should never be put in the same sentence. If you associate shitcoin by price, well, okay. But I can assure you DGB is absolutely not a shitcoin. I mean, in theory, I guess they all are shitcoins. But I'll defend DGB. It is interesting, the cannabis podcast. That is interesting. It doesn't feel right, but it hurts me not. Hurts me to not be all in. Oh, I get that. Oh, wait a minute. Who said that? Oh, Crypto Warbird. How dare you make me blame Robert for something you said? No. I was reading Robert's comment, and then I seen Crypto Warbird, what he said. You heard about Riz. I don't know. Pump all summer long from here, fam. I hope so. For everybody's sake, I hope so. I mean, we're getting to that point. We are absolutely getting to that point. We're at the, it's like we said with some things, but the big thing here right now, the big concern is still the Bitcoin dominance. Like, there's no doubt about it. That Bitcoin dominance is kicking us right into the doddles. That Bitcoin dominance is jumping off the fucking roof. Now, eventually, hopefully, that thing's going to roll over, but not yet. In fact, it's showing a little bit of strength here. Total 3's up 2.79%. That's all cryptos besides Bitcoin and Ethereum. Nice inverse pattern setup if we can fucking break out of here. And it's like, come on now. If we can break out of here, oh boy. And like, it almost filled this entire drop down. It came down to 806. We had a right around 9 billion or 796, so it was close. So I'm not mad about any of this. This is all kind of doing the way that I would like to see it transpire. It just, we'll see if we can get past these resistance. But there's some nice W reversals forming. Inverse head and shoulders. You know, it's there. It's certainly there on all of this. The total 3, if you look at the total crypto market cap, that's all cryptocurrencies. It's already kind of a step ahead, and it looks like it's trying to break out of here. So, I mean, none of this looks bad for crypto, but we just have to push past the resistance and not get a third touch. But that's a big inverse head and shoulder that's now setting up. I mean, and not just set up, it's trying to push up and out. Mike, thoughts on ACH, Alchemy Pay? I like Alchemy Pay a lot, actually. More than most. And that's another one, like, had to sell it after it was about to break down out of this pattern, but now, I mean, at some point, this is coming back to the top, and it's going to end up there at 9.4 cents. And, you know, you sit here and you're like, well, it's at, where are we at right now? 2.14 cents. That's better than a 4x from even right here. You know, so there's so many of them I can say the same thing for. I really wish ZBEC would just have the bottom fall out so that I can get back in that, because that son of a bitch runs fast. Big time. Maybe we can get a reversal here, and then it pushes up like the rest of these. But I would have liked to have seen it come down to some of those gaps, but we'll see. It's a crazy volatile market here lately, everybody. Let's see. I know, back off. No, it doesn't. I got shadow banned a long time ago on YouTube. So I tell everybody to go to my website, XRPFutureMillionaire.com. Literally just type it. It's still in beta. Still getting fixed. Notice how it still says 2 days, 4 hours, and 8 minutes. Once that stops having the exact same countdown and it actually progresses, you'll know that we're getting somewhere. But I have things I want to fix. But get live charts. This is where my live content will end up being uploaded after I put it on YouTube, unless I decide to do something on here exclusively. But I can go to my website, and guess what I can talk about? Whatever the hell I want when I'm live. So whatever I want. Exactly, that's one of the things that are being fixed. Yeah, that's the first thing I talked about on here was the XRP Future Millionaire at the top. I don't know. I don't know. So there's just, the whole point of this is so that I can put my content on here in case something happens with YouTube. Because they're banning a lot of people in crypto. And I got a warning from a video from like 2 years ago. So you never know what they'll do. So then you can come on here, and even if you don't have TradingView, you can just come on the website and you can just go, hey, I want to look at, what are some of the ones we talked about today? Oh, for Shane, XCN. Then you can go to any form you want, like any market you want. I don't care where you're at. You can do what you want. And it's a live API, so you'll be able to do it. And I have a dedicated server, so you're not going to have to worry about a bunch of crowding. So even if there's a bunch of people in here, it's not going to matter. I paid for it. I paid so that we didn't have to deal with all the crowding. So we have a dedicated server instead of some bullshit. So then you just go to XCN. You can look at it however you want. It gives you the statistics, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. So you can be innovative with, be innovative. So what triggered the shatter? Oh, it was years ago. Honestly, truth. Being truthful. Once you start making people money for free, you get on the wrong side. Once you start turning down sponsorships, you get on the wrong. I've turned down so many sponsorships and paid promotions that it's got me in trouble. I get offered a lot of stuff. I have 43,000 plus subscribers, and I get offered a lot of paid gigs that I won't accept. And it's not because I don't want the money. It's because I don't believe all money's real money, or currency. It's not that I don't want it. It's just I don't believe. I don't know. I have a certain set of values, and there's some money that I don't want. I don't want to make it off of somebody else. So if I got to promote something stupid so that I can get a commission off of something even stupider because my audience is even more unaware, and then the rug gets pulled on said stupid item like you see with all these shit tokens everybody talks about, well, I'm not going to be sitting at the top of the mountain by myself counting the bills while everybody else is crying because they're liquidated. I'd rather make it the other way. We got in at the right time. We talked about the right things. We did our due diligence. We worked as one brain, and we did okay. That's how I want to do it. So if you ever wonder why I don't talk about anything, do sponsorships, do all these stupid ads, because I'm not doing it. I don't care how big I'm not doing it. If I got to do that, I fail. I'm just not going to do it. And if they want to shadow ban me, they shadow ban. I don't care. I'll still put my stuff out one way or the other. Can't stop me everywhere. Might not have as many people, but you know. Anyhow, with that being said, XRP healthcare, it's the patience game. We know the IPOs are coming. These are the patient game right now. And we very well could be in some kind of big inverse pattern here. Like if this is the inverse part in chain, I know you've been talking about it a lot, this particular token as well, which I love it because I remember when I first started talking about this, some people looked at me like, I know he's talked about a lot of tokens, but this might be one of the stupidest ones. And then some people only bought it because they thought it had an XRP affiliation, like it was actually part of XRP. And I'm like, no, it has nothing to do with it. And it's a strategic name nonetheless, because think about it. Just like with gold and silver, just hear me out. Gold's at 3,300 plus an ounce. Silver's at 36 plus. Now, if you're poor and you don't have a lot of money, aren't you going to buy the 1 ounce of silver and say, hey, at least I got 1 whole ounce instead of buying a fractional amount of gold? Or just like if you can't afford Bitcoin, aren't you going to one of the altcoins and saying, hey, I might not be able to afford 1 Bitcoin, but I can afford 10,000 of these other things that I like? Imagine XRP's at $3.40 like last time, or it's at $2 and it's moving, and XRP Healthcare is at 7 cents. People are going to have that same logic. That's a good idea. Honestly, that's a good idea. Defined group. We're gonna go over that. I'm gonna present that idea. I'm gonna present that idea to these I don't want to call them assholes, but these ones who are working on the website. UB2B Sab, welcome in and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 4 years with the XRP Phoenix badge, and also our meme genius in the house. Could you imagine the Gatman? The Gatman's the one who bought it, I think, with me first. He said, the hell with it, I'm buying it with him at 2 cents or 1.7 or whatever it was. And he's just like, fuck it, if he's buying it, I'm buying it. Looks good to me. Because we were discussing the uptrend years ago, and I showed how, like, it was talked about a lot in 23, but it was on the downtrend. So when I talked about it, and it ended up being the perfect talk, was when we established this. Anybody remember this uptrend? I'm like, guys, I know I never talked about this, but look, it held this uptrend. I started buying it, and it was right around 1.7. And by the time I came on this day, that wick pulled all the way back up, and it was only at 2 cents or 1.9 or 2, but it had pulled up a little bit. Yep, 0.21, excellent. And I'm like, I know I never talked about this, but it's been in a a very long time, this formation. It started way back. Here's a multi-year consolidation. And I'm like, it had a big downturn, but eventually we're going to see the right side of this. And I did not know it was going to do that. Like, you're talking about going from, and I don't think it hasn't even made the big move yet. That's the scary part. Here, we'll do it from like 197. But you're talking about, look at that move. How high did it end up going? I can't remember. I mean, it was an extraordinary move. It was just unbelievable. Oh, the white paper is what sold me too. And then the charts. I've first seen the chart, and I'm like, oh my God. But I watched it for a long time, and then I got a lot of time to study because it rejected. I thought about talking about it back here in December of 23. And then I said, no, because if I have them buy it here, or if I buy it at 3 and then it goes down and people are 50% down, they're going to lynch me. So I waited for the uptrend, and it tapped it. I'm like, ooh. Now we got something going here. And then when it did this and went up, and then when it did this right here, I'm like, oh, okay. And then when it broke that resistance, everybody in the audience, like, oh. And then it went way up and it went way down. I'm like, hey, nothing goes up and doesn't come down without a back test, remember? And then I go, okay. Then we were patient. Stayed above that, right? And then boom. And now what? Nothing ever goes up without, oh, back testing. Oh. Is that what we just did here? We back tested the initial breakout, that back tested the old breakout, that back tested the new breakout to send it into oblivion. Patience, folks. Patience is a virtue. Only 99 million tokens. That is correct. Is that not an all-time inverse head and shoulders? Because if it is, oh my. Like, that's all I'm going to say. So that's just a little history lesson. I got banned from Eco's TikTok live because I said XRP was not related to XRP. Yeah, a lot of people like to lie. That's okay. You don't want to watch that person anyhow if they're going to be, banning you over telling the truth. Some people, I don't even know why you'd want to lie. I wouldn't want to associate XRP healthcare with XRP. That'd be a disservice to what XRP healthcare is actually doing. Remember, my whole thing was the IPO or the merger and acquisition, and then ultimately leading to some kind of IPO. And the merger and acquisition phase is unbelievable. It's what it's doing. It's something different. XLM, and then I got to go here shortly. It's already been 53 minutes. Julie's laying down. I got to make sure my son's okay, and I got some stuff to do. Man, these always go so damn quick, guys. These damn lives go so fucking quick. Kid you not. Now that the oldest one graduated high school, our son is going in elementary next year, and it's like, I don't know how to feel because all of his other classmates, like, he's in a special needs program. He's like autistic and developmentally delayed, was in a very bad accident when he was 6 months old. I think his brains got scrambled too along the process because he broke his femur, and if anybody knows, the femur is the strongest bone in your body. You're breaking your femur and you're in a car seat, something that violent force had to break his leg. It probably, so he was never the same after. But he's a very high-spirited individual, and I wouldn't want anything else. But he and his class, none of the other kids were able to pass through, and so he's not going to be, I don't think, with any of his other classmates. But they felt comfortable enough to push him into the normal elementary class. But he's going to have an IEP, and he's got a lot of help. And, he's got a feeding tube, so he still has to wear a pull-up because there's accidents and things that happen with that. So it's another whole big thing with the G-tube. But they're very accommodating, and I'm proud of him because he was actually able to, and he's nonverbal, so he was actually able to accomplish enough to where he passed enough and met the standards where he can go into it. But he's got a lot of things, so I always talk about him. But listen, this is real. Tonight, tomorrow, the next day, you're going to start seeing content on here, and it's directed at my son, so if you don't like it, too bad. It's all it's going to be is going through my house because he's got very particular things. He's learning light switches now, and I learned that if I put it in a video, he'll watch it because he watches it on other YouTube channels. And I'm just going to put it on here, and it might be 10 minutes, it might be 20, it might be a minute, it might be, oh, it'll probably be like 20 minutes at a time. But the next one's going to be me going through my house and putting the lights on and saying this light controls this. This lights control that. And it's going to just be, it's going to be for my son, but it's going to be for, you know, for some of his niches and the way he learns with his autism. So that's something you're going to have to deal with on this channel because he goes through my channel. He's only 5. He'll be 6 next month, but he watches it so much. And so it'll be a good way to teach him about stuff in the house too, because he's really trying to learn lights everywhere. So if you guys see that, you know, I'm sure other people will probably watch it, but it's going to be stuff like that. So the one video you're going to see me say, this light controls the outside. This light's for the laundry room. This light's for the living room. Because he's always trying to figure out, like, this one's for the kitchen. And then the one, like, there's this stupid thing built into the wall, an old-fashioned air conditioner. And it's like, this one can be controlled by there, but you got to turn this on. So, I mean, you probably won't see him unless he's walking around with me. It's more like I'm doing a video for him that he'll see in it. I don't know what to put the title because it's going to be something that would have to do with autism because it's not just him who likes things like this. But I got to figure out the right title, but I'm going to do a series for him and it's going to be different things. So just a full warning, a forward thing that's going to be happening. That'll be one change to my channel that I've been thinking about for a long time. And I'm actually going to execute it. Oh, XLM, by the way. That's a very long all-time, well, not all-time, but that's a huge inverse head and shoulders that is set up. The only thing it could have did was come back and bounce down to 19.9, but it's already done that once. So eventually it's going to bounce out, and the next move is going to be up at 51, and then it's going to just be too late. Dude, he watches your video and that autism clicks. He's going to be a chart. Oh, I know, Sir Smokes a lot. And he's so smart when it comes to being able to navigate through not just YouTube, but when it comes to, like, he likes to, like, these puzzle games, and it's just the way his mind works. It's a crazy, awesome thing to watch. Bitcoin up 4%. Oh, it's going crazy. I'm glad to see all the support for some, you know. Thank you, Kat. I appreciate that. I know all of you do love my son. It's, but yeah, he's brilliant. Today we were outside and we were playing, he loves the hose now. It's the shower one, the hose setting that imitates a shower. So now he runs around with it. And he was helping, like I was pushing with the broom to clean off the mud off of the patio in the back. Or off of the cement in the backyard. And I guess it's the patio. And he sprayed the water right where I needed it and I pushed it. And then he would push it with the hose all the way to the grass. And it's like he watches me do it all the time, but he's, I mean, I like the way he thinks. He's very helpful. He's got a kind heart. He's like me. When I was in first grade, my teacher told my mom that I was special and I was different than all the other kids because it was my heart. So it's my biggest gift and my biggest weakness. It's not even that I have a big heart. It's that I have a heart that doesn't want to hurt. And I only want to help. And it's always been like that. And it's, sometimes, you know, people mess with it, but it's never changed my actual heart. So that's why you see me do what I do today. That's why you see what I do today. But XLM, I mean, get on that horsey. XLM's the one with XRP. As long as I hold that, you know I haven't sold it. The day I sell XRP, I would sell XLM at the same time. But it's just something that kind of goes hand in hand. If I could put it on the wallet with them, I would. I mean, I know I could go Zayman and put a whole bunch of, well, not XLM, but I could go to the Stellar wallet. But, you know, that's just one that eventually it's just going to be, oh my God, it was sitting there for so long and now it's not. The fact that it's at 27 cents is criminal. XLM at 27 cents, I mean, almost, it's a full 9.5x below XRP. It's criminal. It's criminal. Think about that. If XRP was 40 cents higher, it'd be 10x over XLM. Tanya, thank you so much for that. I think for our son, like we're the best parents he could want, he could ever hope for. I see a lot of kids that deal with similar things when we're in the 3 therapies a week, and I cringe at some of the ways they talk. Because my son would not be the same person if we yelled at him and did some of the things these other parents do. It's kind of heartbreaking when you watch it, because it's like the kids aren't functioning in the same capacity, and they think different, so you have to act different. So if you're not, I don't know, unless you've been there and you can understand what I'm saying. I think some of you do. Jennifer Kupiak, welcome, and I'm so glad to see you in here as well. Love it. I love seeing everybody in here. You ever going to be able to do natural health channel? That is something that I think with the emergence of the website, I could put that kind of content on there, because then I don't have to worry about being banned. But I think that is why I want to do my website. And then as we get more people, I'm going to do the podcast, and we're going to go over everything. YouTube's going to be for crypto, but the website's going to be for everything else. You know, so if you want to hear Tom's podcast or XRP Future Millionaires podcast, but you want to hear it all, we got to go do it we can't be sanctioned. You know, I got to go somewhere where there's no rules, which would be my website. And like I said, I bought a dedicated server. It cost me $2,700 for 5 years. I could have got it for $200, but I would have been sharing a server. Not happening. So, yes, I am highly thinking of data. I went a different route on data. I said if it breaks that 146, and you can front run it, absolutely, because I've been thinking about front running it. But I wanted to see a pure break over 147. Maybe it comes down here to 144. Maybe it takes longer. I don't know. But that very well could be the reversal. We've hit it a couple times. And if that's the start of the uptrend now, we just have to see. So I'm interested, but on data only because of where it's at. Because I didn't buy it at the very bottom. I think I want to see the confirmation. It's kind of in that mid tier now. But yeah, it's going to be, I can share a lot about the herbs and stuff. Tons. Just tons. And just so much stuff. But I'm going to go check on my son. I'm going to go check on Julie, make sure everything's going good. We've had over an hour together here. It goes so fast, hour and 2 minutes. It's like I could talk forever. And that's why I think a daily podcast would be freaking awesome. Or maybe, you know, every so often. But I appreciate everybody. It's been a great night. Thank you, Jan, so much for being in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge as well. Crypto 589, or Crypto Plumber 589, thank you so much for being in Tom's Army for your first month as well, my friend. So yeah, that's something that I'm going to do. That's something I'm going to do for my son, so you'll be seeing that soon as well. So have a blessed evening, and I can't wait to see you guys. They got 148 people logging off. It feels like an injustice to log off with all of you still here, but it'll keep us wanting